All right, so I've got 11:15 Central Time, and we'll turn it over now to your host, Glenn Muske.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us on the Power of Business Friday 15 live chat. And some of you may have, when you thought you were signing up, and you did, we're expecting to see a colleague or a business owner here from North Dakota, Tracy Frank, talking about her business, Firehouse Ribs. And we were going to go through some questions as to how she got started and why she started and stuff. And she was going to talk some about bootstrapping her business. She is operating out of Medina, North Dakota, and part of her justification or reason for finding this business was simply bootstrapping. How did she put this business together? By trying to minimize her outside resources, or the amount of money she had to borrow, or simply the ability to get her business started. And Tracy will be joining us in a later show now, because she's bootstrapping this morning. She had an issue arise, and as a business owner, you probably very well understand that your priority first comes to that business and stuff, and she's doing what she needs to do to keep it together. And, you know, bootstrapping is nothing new for business owners. A lot of business owners understand bootstrapping, and what do we mean when we say bootstrapping? That's not a term everybody uses, but it's just trying to minimize the amount of money you may borrow or the amount of equity you're selling in your business, and you're finding means and ways to maybe say cobble it together, or make things happen for you. You can think about it, you're trying to make every dollar count. We always say, lease, don't buy. We can push that even further. Rent, don't lease. Or barter, don't rent. Or borrow, don't barter. And the list just goes on and on and on as to what you may want to try to do with your resources. Staffing is another way. When you're a startup business, you're going to probably do a lot of bootstrapping by that capacity of using family, friends, whatever. So with us, we have Connie Hancock from University of Nebraska. Connie, you got any thoughts about bootstrapping your business, or any thing you want to share with us?
Well, yeah, and I hope everybody's gotten a cup of coffee with them. We have 15 minutes here to share some information. But really, the whole concept of bootstrapping, Glenn, as you were talking, reminds me of the whole idea of entrepreneurial thinking. And all small business owners every day think differently about how they're going to do business, how they're going to accomplish what they do. We have a small business owner here in Sidney, Nebraska, that has purchased the coffee shop, and she's doing some unique things with partnering with some of the other small business owners to showcase some quilts in the coffee shop, showcase some of the products that are there, partnering with some of the antique stores to showcase. And so it's kind of a neat network of opportunity. And as you mentioned, the whole bootstrapping thing, in today's world, we really need to think differently about how we network with our community owners, but then also how we do business. And so use your strengths to the highest. Don't think you have to do everything, but look at the people around you and the talents around you, and really think differently about the way that you do business. So you make some really good points about bootstrapping.
Yeah, well, and Connie just touched on that idea of networking. That is just crucial to you being helping you be a successful business owner, capitalizing on those you know and the information you can get from others who may be in business, or friends, colleagues, and stuff. And I guess I'm going to tease that along from networking. That was one of the reasons we started Power of Business. And if you've been with us now, we're just past sort of our first year of our blog, and we're hoping that you're following the blog and stuff. But the whole idea behind Power of Business is to engage with you as business owners. We're trying to get you to also engage with each other, though. We want to do a lot of peer-to-peer work as much as possible. Thus, why do we bring in entrepreneurs just about every month for you to chat with? To engage, to hear somebody else. Certainly feel comfortable with any of our entrepreneurs. You may not get your question answered here, or you may not even think about the question at this point in time, but down the road, go back and maybe you say, what did this person say? And they're all willing to share their ideas and information with you. So power of business is peer-to-peer learning. We're trying to build that up, and as we go now, expanding from year one, which we've been trying to do everything we can to get things going. Hopefully now in year two, as we progress, we'll be involving you more and more in that conversation. But so think about it that way.
Yep. Well, and we've opened up the question and answer piece. For the small business owners that are watching us today, it would be kind of fun to hear their ideas of how they've done some business that didn't cost them very much money, and they've been very successful with that kind of a bootstrapping philosophy. So if you've got some ideas, share that in the question and answer app in the Google Hangout.
Yeah.
We're trying to use these tools to the best. We're experimenting with it. We've had some good situations. We've had some ones that, were a little bit on the challenging side. But the whole point of using these technologies is to reach a new audience. And as we think about that, whether it's your website or your online presence or your social media, reaching that new audience, reaching those new folks is really critical, Glenn. And as you talk about power of business, we're even going back now and analyzing some of the things that worked really well for us and some things that didn't work so well.
So what's working well, Connie?
Well, we're still in the analyzing mode. We've just incorporated Google Analytics, and for many of you who are using Google, it is a free tool, and they've got many, many small business owner apps and applications that are useful to small business owners. Our analytics is probably the most important one. In my mind, although YouTube is extremely awesome in terms of reaching a new audience as well. But we've just incorporated the Google Analytics into the back of our blog, and we're starting to capture then how people are coming, how people are finding us, what kinds of terms they're finding us in, and we'll be doing some additional analysis of that kind of information. But as our small business owners start to think about using analytics, they really need to know what they want to accomplish. And we do have a question in the question and answer. Jerry asked the question of what role do you think personal learning networks might play in helping entrepreneurs to expand their perspectives and see these kinds of creative bootstrapping opportunities. I'm just learning about personal networks, learning networks, Jerry, and so I think that's a great opportunity for us to even have more of these kinds of live chats with small business owners that are willing to spend a half hour in conversations about that. So I think we could really be innovative with bringing the peer-to-peer, the entrepreneur-to-entrepreneur together in this kind of an environment of a Google Hangout. So if we could show the slide about the SMART goals, as folks think about those SMART goals and what they want to accomplish with their analytics, there's just 5 things that really talk about the whole SMART piece. One is that you're specific. You are extremely specific in what it is that you're trying to do. Things like, I want a 25% increase in social media. I mean, those are things that are extremely specific, that you're focused on the social media part. If it's a particular written piece that you want people to download, you want that call to action to be very, very specific. You want it measurable. So as we talk about the 25%, or I want to increase my likes by 100 people, those are all extremely measurable kinds of things that a small business owner needs to identify as we think about those goals. And are they attainable? I mean, if I'm trying to reach 10,000 people, that's probably not quite as attainable in a short period of time as 100 people or 25% or 5%. So make sure that you think about those goals and want to accomplish in an attainable scenario. And are they relevant to your business? Is it really something that will help your business move forward in the online world? Now, these SMART goals can also be related to the brick and mortar scenario too, but I'm referring mostly now to the analytics in a web or an online presence. And then make sure they're time bound. 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And as Power of Business has started to identify their goals, we're seeing some accomplishments of what's happening with our newsletter that we've established. We're starting to reach out. The way that we reach out, the way that we market, that is becoming more powerful, Glenn, as we think about analyzing that information and where we're at with this concept. So
I was just going to chime in here. Connie talked about, she's referencing more of the online world and stuff, but practically, Connie is more new school, and I'm more old school, I guess I would say. Practically everything you hear, whether that we're talking about online marketing or online business versus another type of business, works irregardless. You just need to change some of the terms and some of the thoughts. So if you hear the word online, don't say, oh, that doesn't apply to me. The SMART goals, as Connie pointed out, are really, they fit whether you're online or traditional. But just remember, I guess the one thing we do agree on is you do need an online presence in today's world and stuff. And I think there was the next slide that Connie's going to talk about is helping you realize what some of these online presences are and stuff. So
and the whole idea of SMART goals, Glenn, really relates to anything that we do. I mean, if you're going to start a new department within your business, if you're going to start a new line, a product line, if you're going to try to reach a different audience or even some sort of a promotion, you need to really think about what that goal is, and thinking about it in terms of SMART helps you know whether or not you've wasted your time or that you've used your time efficiently, because time is such a critical resource that we have, and we need to know that what we've done is beneficial and reaches the bottom line of being profitable.
And speaking of time, Connie, maybe you want to move on to the online curriculum while we still have a couple minutes left here.
We've already reached our time.
Yeah.
We have 3 curriculums that are free. So it really walks you through the whole concept of thinking about your website, thinking about your online presence, and then also helping you with your brand in the social media world. One of them is on direct marketing, especially food. So if food is your product, this one will help you think about that, because in the online world you can't taste or touch or smell. Marketing agritourism has a different kind of clientele. You want to showcase that experience so that people will register, will reserve their spot. And so agritourism is another one of our curriculums. And the last one that we have is e-tailing. It's taking charge of your online presence. This one goes into a little bit more e-commerce, security kinds of topics. But all we're asking for is name and email, and then we can do some follow-up with you. But these are the 3 links, very simple links to go to for any kind of that kind of online curriculum of those 3 pieces. We have one more comment, Glenn, in the chat. Donna missed the first few minutes, but what if the clientele you're working with primarily really like that face-to-face interaction? You want to make any comments about that?
Well, Don, probably could be one of those. I mean, if you give me a choice, I'd really like to go face-to-face, but it's not always feasible. we have rural business owners. And you know, the one thing about these chats that we do here and stuff, you do see a little bit of face. And I think one of our challenges is to help encourage people to look at these different ways of networking. There's a whole world out there and stuff, and so maybe we're going to have to work with folks to take some baby steps in that method, because this is a great way of getting to find out who some of the leaders are, who some of the people you want to follow are and stuff. But Connie, you got any thoughts?
Well, just to Donna's point, I live in western Nebraska, Donna, and distance is a huge factor. So for me to travel to some of these meetings where they are face-to-face, it's almost impossible. I'd be on the road all the time, which some days I feel like I am anyway. But so being able to have this kind of a relationship with Glenn and with the folks in the Power of Business, I can still feel like I'm actually visiting with Glenn because I see him, I talk to him. But knowing that there will be clients, customers that really like that hands-on. Once you build that trust with those people, though, that becomes another whole environment then of conversation out there. Yeah, the farmers market. You mentioned she knows in her farmers markets of using social media, and that's yep.
And again, the power of your peers. You know, in some way they'll help make that message for you and stuff. So, well, we want to thank you for joining us today, and appreciate you coming by. Again, we do these Friday chats, the first Friday of every month. So as you see on the slide, our next chat is going to be on April 3rd, same time, same place to register and stuff. And the person who will be talking is Matt LaRue, who is going to talk about, marketing channel assessment for farmers. But again, if you're not a farmer, that doesn't mean don't stop in, because what he's going to be talking about would apply to whatever type of business that you're in. You just need to change a word or two. So we want to thank you for joining us, spending this time to have a cup of coffee with us and stuff. That's the whole purpose, is to allow you time to soak in a little bit of knowledge, to hear some thoughts, and then to respond. And hopefully, if you're interested in being a chatter, certainly give us a call and stuff. One of the ways in good networking is to become the expert. Well, we'll give you that opportunity. So with that, I want to thank Connie. Connie, you got something to say?
Well, I was just going to tell people to check out powerofbusiness.net, and if they have questions, go to our Google Plus page, and we'll be glad to answer them. That's what we're here for, is to make connections with you and the resources that are available to us. So. And
yes, Donna, if you go to the Power of Business page, we will have those curricula listed on there with the links to them. So thanks for that idea.
Great.
So with that, thanks very much, folks.
Have a good one, all.
See you next month.